Hey guys, we are back here for the next in our series of videos from Disneyland. So this time we are picking up here in Frontierland, where there are tons and tons of tricks, tips, and secrets and fun stuff like that. So if you followed along with our series, which hopefully you have, we've been making our way through the park and had tons of things in each of the lands so far. And so we kind of mean this as a series to go through. One thing we say off the top is it's not meant to be comprehensive of every single tip out there, particularly when we're looking at Frontierland. When you look at Fantasmic and all the things that are going on Mark Twain's Island, all the little nods and homages and things like that. And it's just a really big land. So we're just going to pick some of our favorites. If there's some that we missed that you love, make sure to add them into the comments to our YouTube channel here down below, and that way people can contribute, add their comments, and it can become kind of a living document there. So we're going to take our look around, show you some things. Hopefully there will be a few new surprises for you or fun things to share with others. So let's go take a look. All right, first up on our look around Frontierland is just a really, at least pivotal for soda drinkers stop, which is Rancho del Zocalo. And this is the only spot in Disneyland as of this recording that is fully legal to get refills in a counter service spot. So you need to hold your receipt, but you're allowed to go back in. It is a kind of cafeteria style spot, good menu there of options. You can make your way into Pizza Port or a few other places that aren't too difficult to get refills, but again, as of this recording, that's not something that they are super excited about. So who knows, by the time we post this, because we are filming this weeks in advance of actually going up, and then as it sits, I mean, we're going to be redoing these videos periodically, but the idea is that some of these videos will sit for a year or two of being useful, hopefully. So always check, but if nothing else, the real tip here maybe at Frontierland is just always check on those drink refill situations, because being able to pay the same price here as somewhere else where you don't get refills, it gives it a huge value. All right, next up on our tour through Frontierland is here where the old mine train through Nature's Wonderland sits. And in this area, not only do you have the very cool mine train tracks in the water, but as you can see in the water, there are various spots where this sort of automated fish rise up out of the water. I remember being years ago and thinking that these were real fish, and they weren't. There are real fish mixed in here, which are quite cool to see as well, the koi fish that make their way through. But when you see the water kind of dancing and something rising out of it, it is from the old attraction. And so as the story goes on, many sites that I've read is just that these were left behind and they never bothered taking them out. I'm not so sure about that. I've seen them down before, and I think they are repaired. I think they're just a cool little nod and a fun little hidden secret here at Disneyland. And so I don't think it was something lazily left behind. I think it's something very cool as an addition to this area. So definitely check it out. Next up on our tour, we are at the far reaches of Frontierland, right up against Fantasyland, and we are here at Big Thunder Ranch, which first off is just one of the best eats in the Disneyland Resort. It's a pricey place, but a lot of fun eating there. They do little shows, a good selection of food, all of that. In addition, though, a couple tips back in this area. One, if you're going to eat at Thunder Ranch, always make sure to have reservations. In addition, if you have kids or even just adults, it can be fun to kind of hang out over this way, although they do close early, the petting zoo and all of that. While eating at Thunder Ranch, highly suggest going with one person in the party getting the vegetarian dish. Even if no one in the party really wants vegetarian, the reason being is because they will give you as much meat as you want, and so the vegetarian dish allows you some extra foods to try there. So they give you a skewer with various vegetables on it, barbecue sauce. It does have tofu as well, which you may or may not like, but it's just kind of a fun little extra additional food. And as I said, as much meat as you want. So when we go there, I mean, I'm still gonna have a little bit of meat, but I get the vegetarian, and that way we can kind of split it up and have a little bit more of everything to try and taste. In the end, you can only eat so much. The other thing about this area that's really cool is a lot of people go to the Fantasyland restrooms right by Village House, which get really packed and really crazy. And these are the best kind of most hidden bathrooms in the park back here behind Thunder Ranch. They're always super clean. They're always pretty dead, even during events. I've never seen it packed. They are small restrooms. They're not huge or anything, as with most of Disneyland bathrooms. They're not the biggest things, but it's a good kind of hidden away little restroom that you can usually get into without much of a fight, and it's always clean in our experiences there. So a couple of fun little hidden gems or nuggets of fun back here in Frontierland. Okay, so currently the Thunder Ranch Petting Zoo area is all closed down, and really we're filming this in the off season. So the back lot area there, where they have various things, long lost friends, or holiday festivities and things like that, is all closed down right now. But we want to focus in on this area because back there when it's open, if you are a character meet and greet person, that's really the place to go. I mean, it does get crowded during the various long lost friends and things like that. But if we're looking at things like Christmas and Halloween in particular with the characters in their special attire, far better to meet and greet with them there than at the front of Disneyland. It's amazing during those seasons. So we'll come back here, there'll be little shows, other little fun things going on with minimal lines relative to what it is at the front of the park. And yet the front of the park, as I said, is super crowded, way less to do, but it's because a lot of people just don't make their way back here. So definitely worth seeing. In addition, all this area, they'll put little hats and things like that on the goats, fun things like that. So it's really something to see during the holidays. So check out that. Is Easter, Halloween, and Christmas in particular, all sorts of things. Santa, they even keep him out after Christmas. He's in kind of a business casual outfit, so he's not in his usual red garb. It's really fun to check out. The one thing, though, to be prepared for with the guests back here, they do kind of the casual meet and greet thing, meaning that they don't really do formal lines except for Santa Claus or the long lost friends, things like that, where they have the backdrops. But otherwise, they have them like when they have the Fab Five in their Christmas attire, Halloween attire, they just kind of wander, and you kind of have to wander and follow them and let them ideally walk into you so you can get some pictures. If you have more interest in those types of things, you can go over to our website, obviously parksandcons.com, to check out all our videos. We've covered all the events last year, and we will again this year, so you can see what the festivities look like when it comes to the holidays over here. But definitely, this is the place to go for meet and greets if that's your thing. All right, now we are nestled up here against the River of America, or the Rivers of America, right across from the entrance for Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. And what's neat over here, a couple things. One, if you are in this area a couple hours leading up to Fantasmic, you get to see them start putting the show together. So we can see right now some of the work going on behind the scenes there. There's all sorts of fun things that come along in the fort, and as they're pulling out the stuff for the big show, it's quite a spectacular. It also can be a good place just to watch the show from. It's not the same, obviously, as getting your fast pass, which definitely is something you'd want to do if you're not familiar with the show. But if you're somebody that's gone a handful of times, you probably already know this trick, but this is a great place to be. The other thing, checking out the Mark Twain, a must-do thing is to drive, quote unquote, up in the hill house up above, and so that's a really fun thing to do. It can take a while, much like the Lily Bell. It's something you need to kind of book earlier on in the day, or it depends. What we just do is check in with the cast members right at the gate, ask them. Many times they'll say it'll be 1 or 2 rotations off, so it might be 20, 40 minutes, 60 minutes. It depends. The only times we've done it, I think we've done it 4 or 5 times now with friends, is about when it's a 20-minute wait, and we usually do it as kind of a special thing for somebody else. So we had some good friends do that for us, and so we kind of try and pass that along to other friends to kind of show us things. So definitely a must to do. They also give you a certificate when you're done that you have, piloted the ship across the oceans and or the rivers, and it's a fun little add-on to any day at Disneyland. So might be something if you're at the park, especially if somebody that's not as into the whole Disney experience. Could be a really fun and unique way to win them over and give them something extra special to take home with them as a memory. All right, we're going to wrap up our time here in Frontierland with the petrified tree over here. This is something that a lot of people just pass by quickly on their way to Thunder Mountain, Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion. Obviously, with the island in the backdrop, it's a beautiful spot, and it's easy to kind of miss it. But it's fun here. If you watched our Adventureland video, we talked about the oldest part of the park, the tree that was a wedding gift long before Disney ever set foot in this area. And in keeping in that vein, Walt loved the idea, as the legend goes, and this was actually a gift between him and Mrs. Disney back in the days to bring into the park and kind of carry on that idea of kind of a forever gift there. So it was dedicated in September 1957. Not much of the stories there, and again, if you look online, stories differ a little bit on it, but I prefer the version that this was kind of a gift between them, very much in the vein of that wedding gift long before Disneyland ever was a thought of anyone. So fun trip through Frontierland. As I said, there's a lot more. We don't even touch on any of the things on Mark Twain Twain's Island. There's so much there that you can look into. I found Frontierland as we were kind of researching and getting ready to be maybe the land that had the most little secrets, tips, things like that. A lot of them don't really excite me, and so we kind of stuck with what did, and some of the more practical, fun things, as well as some of the more exciting little secret tips. But as I said, this is a living, breathing document here. We want the YouTube channel to kind of work in that way as far as it comes to the Disneyland tips. So please feel free to leave in the comments. There may have been the very best thing in your opinion that I left out, and you're yelling at your phone or computer monitor or wherever you're watching this right now. Please leave it in the comments there so people can check it out and see what things that you think should be added to this. And again, as we update it over the years, maybe we'll add some of those things in. So we're going to wrap up here for Frontierland and move on to Fantasyland next. So until Fantasyland, we'll see you in line somewhere.